Okay, so I'm going to be doing a review of Captain America Symbol of Truth Volume 2, Pax Mahanda. So, basically, I was going to do this review sooner. In fact, this is I did a review of Volume 1 back in February. Yeah, it was February. And Chris has sent me, in part of the Marvel Haul, the entire, what I like to call the Cold War saga, which this and the other book, Sentinel of Liberty, written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanning, and also I talked about what I call the epilogue piece, Thunderbolts. Those books were all part of this Cold War, this Captain America event called Cold War. So this is the second part to that, and the next part leads up to Sentinel of Liberty, which involves Steve Rogers. I'll talk more about that when I get to that book. But yeah, I was going to review this book next, and read and review this book next, but then between Chris sending me Batman TAS The Adventures Continue Season 3 and having just watched Cape Crusader, I was like, you know what? I got a little bat on the brain. Let's do some Batman first before anything else. So here we are now. Anyway, so let's talk about this. So, like I said, Captain America Symbol of Truth is written by it's not Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanning. It is written by Tochi Onibuchi. Oh, God, I am going to butcher this name. I am sorry. Yeah. So the comic, for those who don't know, the first volume I didn't really like. And it wasn't because it was a bad story. It just did something that's been plaguing Marvel books for a while now. And specifically Black Panther books. It's why I didn't really care much for the Eve Ewing Black Panther books, because they're doing... I don't know why Marvel has this obsession now, but, like, the whole point is that Wakanda is meant to be a utopia for the African nation. But for some goddamn reason, they make them all out to be dicks and try to say, oh, democracy can't work in Wakanda. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck are you trying to say? Either democracy doesn't work, or it does work, and you teeter between this line every time. And also, like, they make T'Challa and Shuri completely unlikable in the last book, and to the point where Wakanda refuses to take any African American citizens from America out of spite. I mean, yeah, they try to explain it was all doing of White Wolf because he's kind of the overarching villain of this comic, but like, it's so haphazard, it just feels mean-spirited. So that was my problem with the first book. So I was like, well, okay, let's see where we go next. So let's get into this book. So this comic is set with Wakanda's sister nation, Mahanda. And it has been after years of civil war and other things, the new prime minister has created a quote-unquote utopia, but you kind of get this sense that, like, even if she did succeed, there's this level of, like undercurrent racism, because it's kind of, like, I think what the writer was trying to go for was trying to have, like, it's good for people, but not everyone, if she lived, because I think it's like a comment on the South Africans, the white South African population, and how they treat the native black South African people. I feel like that was the road he was going to go for, but that doesn't happen because she gets assassinated under orders by White Wolf, who also has injects Joaquin, the new Falcon, and Sam's partner with a genetic disease that turns him into an actual Falcon monster. So Sam, going into Mahanda with Nomad, aka Ian Rogers, the adopted son of Steve Rogers from the Rick Remender run, the two of them team up, head into Mahanda, and do battle with White Wolf. This is a fun book. Onibuchi, God, I am so sorry I'm butchering that name, really knows how to write a fight sequence, because this final fight between Sam and White Wolf is brutal. I was like, damn, dude knows how to set up a fight. Like, it's so hard to get that in modern comics these days. You're guys in costumes, it's okay to fight. You know, bad guy versus good guy. We want a knock down, drag out fight. And him and Sam, White Wolf and Sam just throwed hands. Like, for real. Also, I love how this comic really pays, like, Onibuchi clearly loved the Rick Remender Captain America era of comics, because again, he brings in Ian Rogers, the new Nomad. He brings in like, he does, like, some deep-cut references from Dimension Z that are like, oh, shit! Someone remembered Dimension Z! And the creatures that live in Dimension Z. That's really cool! So, I'm glad, like, because, remember, Rick Remender was the guy who made Sam Wilson into Captain America. So it's kind of nice that we're going back to those roots of that era of Captain America. I also like how they utilize one of Cap's former villains, Nightshade, and Sam having some distrust in her because, you know, during that same era of Rick Remender's Captain America, she turned him into a werewolf. That's kind of her thing. Don't worry about it. White Wolf himself is a unmitigated, like, one. It feels like White Wolf it does have some moments where he's like, because Mahanda is his native nation. And in here, he's kind of talking like, they'll never accept you because of your skin color, no matter what you do for them. And it would have been a great moment for Sam to, like, counteract him. But no, Sam just pummels him into the dirt. So I feel like there was a message. That's the thing with this comic, is that I feel like there are messages here, but not further expanded. I do like the back and forth, and also the whole thing with Joaquin getting mutated into a Birdman, like him flying around like, I'm a bird, motherfucker, I'm a bird. It just feels like extra moment because I feel like the art, like the only reason they wanted to do this is, like, let me show you. Yeah, I feel like the only reason they did this was because they wanted to, like, draw Joaquin as, like, Bird Morbius, right? So, having said all that, I really do feel like, and again, that was kind of my thing with the first volume of Symbol of Truth, where it feels like we have ideas, but we're not expanding on them further. And I don't know if that's because, like, this was all meant to build up to Cold War, which this Symbol of Truth didn't really, it felt like the writer was doing his own story. Then I was like, oh yeah, Cold War's happening, because it really does feel like Cold War is more of a setup in Sentinel of Liberty, but that's just how I feel right now. Having said all that, I did like this book. Don't get me wrong, I actually did enjoy this book more than Volume 1, probably because it's Sam Wilson being Sam Wilson, and it's really cool to see a lot of the Rick Remender stuff come back, like, again, Dimension Z, Ian Rogers, all of that good stuff. So, yeah. Do I recommend this volume? A lot more than Volume 1, because Volume 1 just made me angry, because I just feel like, why is it Marvel's obsession now to, like, make Wakanda not special? The whole point of Wakanda is that it's a utopia created by the African society. And I know I'm saying this as a white cis man, but, like, can we have that Wakanda, like, that Wakanda is what makes it interesting. Don't give it a democracy if all you're going to do is just, you know, revert back to T'Challa being the king again. And say, like, oh, democracy doesn't work. You have a perfect opportunity to do some nuanced things, but no, it feels like they just want to make it, like, everyone wants to make Wakanda not special. And I don't get it. Anyway, I've said my piece on that. So this Volume 2 I like more than Volume 1. White Wolf, yeah, he's an alright villain, but still. Anyway, the countdown, when I get to Sentinel of Liberty, that's when we'll get more of the stuff with Cold War, I imagine. But anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of, if you've read Captain America Symbol of Truth Volume 2, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Chris, thank you once again for the comic. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.